Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do this morning on this beautiful Sydney spring morning, it's a little overcast, but it's quiet, it's still, and it's a beautiful start to the day. What I'd love to do is to go through a book, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled Under Pressure. Looks like we've got the shore crews going through now, the shore fours, doing their morning drills, prepping themselves for the season ahead. This book, Under Pressure, was authored by a lady who goes by the name of Damour and published on the 12th of February 2019. This book is an interesting look at life and talks about a subject that we all seem to have to deal with at some point in our lives. So let's step through it and see what we can take, what we can glean, and what we can learn from this book, and see what we can incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, and potential power as we see the crews come past us. So this book was written by Damour, and she's also the psychologist who gave us another book which is called or entitled Untangled, and doesn't just explain why our girls are drowning in anxiety. She shows us how we've been completely wrong about what's causing it and what actually helps. So the first key message from this book is where we learn that her panic isn't pathology, it's survival. And her first truth hits one quite hard, like a slap in the face. When your daughter melts down over seemingly nothing, she's not being dramatic or weak, is the important message. She's responding exactly as any human would do in the living world, where every social interaction is recorded, every mistake is made permanent, and every day brings new ways to fail miserably and to fail publicly. The girl in that coffee shop wasn't having an irrational response to a dead phone. She was having a completely rational response to being cut off from the social ecosystem that, believe it or not, determines her worth, her friendships, and one's sense of safety. So what we're learning here is when you're seeing somebody melting down over a phone that has lost its battery life temporarily, what you're actually seeing is people's real response to being cut off from the world. And this author, Damour, shows us that anxiety disorder is often just a nervous system doing exactly what it's supposed to do when faced with genuine threats to one's social survival. The other message to come from this book is where we learn that we're actually and accidentally teaching girls that they're fragile. The most uncomfortable mirror Damour holds up is how our well-intentioned rescuing is making everything worse, much worse. Every time we email the teacher about the unfair test, negotiate deadline extensions, or rush in to smooth over social conflicts, we send our daughters a very, very clear message. You can't handle this. And Damour reveals how our protective instincts are creating girls who are terrified of discomfort because they've never learned that they can survive it. They've never learned that they can survive it. The anxiety isn't coming from pressure itself, but from the belief that they're too delicate to handle normal human pressure and the normal human challenges. When we treat stress like it's toxic, instead of teaching them it's temporary and survivable, where we turn capable young women into adults who crumble at the first sign of difficulty. The next point to come from this author is where we look at how we've made mental health labels into identity. And this insight breaks one's heart because you recognize it immediately. Girls today collect diagnoses like badges, turning normal human emotions into evidence of their brokenness. Damour doesn't dismiss real mental health struggles, but she shows how casually throwing them around terms like anxiety disorder and depression makes girls feel like their natural responses to an unnatural world are symptoms of something fundamentally wrong with them, when feeling nervous about a test becomes having anxiety, and every sad day becomes being depressed. We teach girls to see themselves as patients instead of normal humans having normal human experiences. The girl in the coffee shop that we talked about before didn't need a diagnosis. She needed someone to validate that her world is actually overwhelming, and her feelings make perfect sense. Real help looks nothing like what we think, and the most liberating lesson Damour offers is understanding that helping doesn't mean fixing or removing all stress from our girls' lives. Real support, like sitting with them in their discomfort without rushing to make it go away, validating their feelings without trying to talk them out of those feelings, and teaching them that they're strong enough to handle hard things instead of protecting them from every possible hardship. When we stop trying to eliminate their stress and start helping them build confidence in their ability to cope with it, something magical happens. They stop being afraid of their emotions and start entrusting their own resilience. So why every parent of a girl needs this book, Under Pressure, isn't another parenting manual full of impossible strategies. It's a clear-eyed look at why our daughters are struggling and what we can do that actually helps, instead of just making us feel better about helping. Damour writes with the authority of someone who has spent decades working with teenagers, and the compassion of someone who genuinely likes them. She doesn't blame parents or schools or social media, but she helps us understand how these factors create perfect storms in our girls' lives. Wow, what a powerful book, and what a few very, very insightful and empowering lessons we've been able to gain from this book. The book entitled Under Pressure by Damour. A real eye-opener, some tremendous insight in how to help identify the challenges that we create for our daughters and how to help them deal with it. Take care, everybody. Wishing you all the best, and we'll chat again shortly. Bye for now.